Well, thank you for coming on my show at Miss Alexandra. Can you tell everyone a brief details about yourself?
Yeah, so hey everybody, I'm Alexandra Almendarez. I'm an actress, singer, and salsa dancer based in LA. I'm repped in LA by JVC Talent and in New York and LA by Roger Paul Inc. I started out as a singer and I've been singing for over 20 years. And then I went into theater and musical theater. And just a really quick Reader's Digest version, and we'll get into it if you want. Um, then I went into business administration in college and took a hard left and went into business entertainment. And then around 2017, I came back to the arts and I did a musical called Dreamgirls. And from then on, I haven't looked back. And I believe that everything happens for a reason. And so the journey I went on was meant to be. But I've been pursuing TV and film for over 5 years. And I enjoy it. I love it. I've grown as an artist. I've dabbled in acting, singing, and dancing. And not only that, but also voiceover and modeling. And I just am the kind of person to try to be open to a lot of different avenues. And I'm excited for a lot of new projects that are coming up.
Well, that's amazing. You have so much talent. So
Thank you.
what age did you start singing?
So I started when I was 9. I happened to join the choir, the elementary school choir when I was 9, and I didn't think much of it. I mean, I don't think you really know if you can sing well until you're starting it. And then I kind of realized I had a talent growing up.
Hmm.
And my grandparents actually were also musicians. My grandpa was a musician. My grandpa played the harmonica. Grandpa used to sing corridos. My grandma, although she didn't pursue it, she also sang on the radio and was a singer. And it later on, I realized, oh, yeah, he kind of runs in the family. My aunt's an opera singer, so um, yeah, I started singing when I was 9, and then I stayed in choir. It was a way that helped me to get from introvert to extrovert because I used to be very shy, and now I feel like I'm more extroverted, also because of like the nature of our
Hmm.
industry. And I was singing all in choir, mostly the soprano part, so like the higher part, if people don't know, and then the alto part's the middle part too. And that's been my bread and butter. I love that with all of my soul. And yeah, one of my main goals is also to book a Broadway show. So I kind of go in and out of TV and film and theater. And I booked as a session singer. I sang backup on the singer in the 80s. Her name's Melissa Manchester. She's still producing work. She's actually
Hmm.
in Funny Girl on the Broadway tour at the Albenson right now. Wonderful person, great opportunity. And I actively do voiceover too. I am Nina's mom on Coco Melon season 5 on Netflix, which was really exciting. And I love being involved with like kids' activities. And I also have a niece who's almost 3. So I just, it just kind of felt like home. And recently, we also, my friend Natalie, who's also my um, collaborator and director, we recently wrapped Merry Christmas, Matty Cat, which was the sequel to um, the Merry Christmas, Matty Cat was a sequel to Matty Cat that came out earlier in 2023, and we just wrapped that now. We're going to post about it. And so, yeah, voiceover and singing, I feel, are very tied together. And I really enjoy it. And I feel like people can relate to singing and to vocals and voiceover. And the more that we spread it, I think it really can bring about a lot of change and really affect people in a big way.
That's amazingly true, voiceover, and congratulations on your Netflix series.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what was the title again? So many people might want to hear it.
So I am on season 5 of Coco Melon on Netflix, and the character is Nina's mom, the Latina mom. I am on Netflix for yes, season 5.
And if a little more about you real quick. You're not originally, and please don't take this the wrong way, but you're not originally from Los Angeles, is that correct?
No, I am. So, but it's a small city called Laverne just like 45 minutes out of Los Angeles. Yeah, born and raised here. And um, on my mom's side, we're from New Mexico, and it dates back till like many, I think like hundreds of years. We haven't done the ancestry,
Hmm.
all that yet, but we've been here for a while, and lots of like Native American and Spanish
Right. Well, the
at the
reason I the
background. My
reason
dad, yeah, uh-huh.
oh,
Oh, I was
I'm
gonna say
sorry.
my dad is from Nicaragua, so I'm first generation on my dad's side, and then many generations on my
Mhm.
mom's side. Yeah.
Well, the reason I was saying that because your last name is like equal. I'm sorry, I'm so bad. I can't say it right. But where your dad is from, but also it also sounds like the Native American names in New Mexico. So that's why I was just curious and asking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. And we want to know, we're going to find out like exactly the origins of the name, but we know for sure that the ALM is kind of the prefix of ALM is like something like Arabic. And so my dad does we but on both sides we have like Spanish roots, so it would make sense that we'd have that. But yeah, it's not as common. So when I meet like an Almendarez or an Almendaris, we're just like, do we know each other? Are we family? You know? But yeah, I
It'd be
appreciate that.
so awkward if you meet someone and you're like, wait, I think we know each other. We might be
Yeah.
related.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to ask.
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
You have a really cool, unique name.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
you're you're very welcome. Now, you were in, of course, in the Real that was in 2019, I believe. Now what can you tell the audience about that?
Yeah, so that was really exciting. That was one of my bigger bookings back in 2019. I remember this was a time when I didn't even have an agent or a manager. I self-submitted, I think on LA Casting or Actors Access, and I had been in talks with one of the folks in casting over a couple of months about possibly getting on the show. And one time it didn't work out. I think there was like a scheduling thing. And then the next time it happened to work out. And I had pursued this without representation. I had just, I think, been pursuing TV and film for about a little more than a year because I think I crossed over at the end of 2017.
Hmm.
So it was amazing. I remember I had to get work covered and I had to make sure I got to sleep well because I was going to be modeling in the morning and they wanted me to be there by like 5:30 in the morning at
Woo!
Warner Brothers, yeah. So imagine coming down from Laverne and just making sure I got time, like Starbucks and all that. But it was exciting. It was
Gotta have
wonderful.
Starbucks.
Everybody, yeah, exactly. Yeah, crafty. Everybody was so welcoming. I got to model an outfit inspired by Lo, who's one of my idols and who I think is an icon. I have ridiculous respect for her, actor, singer, creator, producer, all around wonderful human being. And yeah, they had me in at 5:30, went into hair and makeup, got fit for the dress, and it was a live. It's live, so anything can happen when it's live. But it went really well, and yeah, we had a wonderful audience, wonderful energy, and I remember at the end, well, actually, during when I came out, all the hosts were so supportive,
Hmm.
like Adrian and all of them, and Jeannie Mai, and yeah, it was a short day. And I also remember I was able to get out early and then go to my job. So I was worked from like 5 a.m. to like 8:30, and we're like, okay, we're done. And then I went about my day, and it was fun. But
That's
yeah,
that's that's amazing. Waking up so early in the morning, it's brutal, I know. Like I'm not a
yeah.
morning person either.
Yeah, we
You
have
gotta
our
have
night calls or early morning calls, and then you think, man, you got to be able to do it all,
yeah,
you know?
when you're auditioning or when you're going to be on set.
Yeah.
Of course you were in Matty Cat in 2023.
Yes.
What can you tell the audience about that? And of course, a lot of audience will be wondering when they hear the name Matty Cat, they're kind of curious what that's
Yeah.
about. So
Who is Matty Cat?
you're
Yeah. So,
right.
yeah. Uh, so Matty Cat is an animated 2D short film based on Natalie Rodriguez. So she's a director. She's also my co-collaborator and friend. It's based on her cat, and he's got his own Instagram page. He is definitely wonderful, and it's cute. You know how cats with their ears back, they're moody sometimes, and he's definitely a wonderful inspiration for the story that she created. And it's basically his origin story of how they believe they don't know exactly how Matty came across it and what his life was before she and her mom took in Matty. And so she made this backstory for him that we believe to be real. And we leave it up to the imagination of the viewers. Yeah, it's a great 2D animated film, wonderful animation, wonderful sound on that. I was the narrator and the leading lady on that, and I just really enjoyed it. I also have an affinity for cats, so that helped. And we are very excited that we were able to just wrap also the sequel to Matty Cat, so Merry Christmas, Matty Cat. We filmed at the same studio outside of Warner Brothers, and yeah, just a great experience. And actually, with the first Matty Cat, we were able to run the film festival circuit, and we were at Comic-Con. We had a wonderful Q&A, and that was a great experience because I've never been to Comic-Con, and we had a wonderful moderator, and our producer Peter Olson was also there, and Natalie Rodriguez and myself. And yeah, we hope to just continue to bring about happiness with our projects because it's so nice to have fun-filled projects like Matty Cat, 2D animated shorts, and I feel like we definitely stood out at the film festivals because we were one of the few animated shorts, and also it's 2D, so that's a little bit different than what people might be used to. But people really resonated with it, and we are just excited that we had the opportunity to be a part of that story.
Wow, that's amazing. And where can people watch the Matty Cat?
So right now it is not available, but when it is available, we will make it available to you guys, and I'll have that link in this video later on.
Okay, everybody be wondering.
Yeah, I
Um,
think because it was on the film festival circuit, we weren't
uh-huh.
allowed to show it publicly, but now that it's wrapping up, we'll be able to show it, and once that's wrapped, then I'll let you
I
know.
mean, I'm one of them, but of course the
Yeah,
audience will
well, I'll
be
send it. Yeah,
the
yeah,
audience will be, wait, why, right?
yeah. Bye.
So they'll be like, we need to look you up on Instagram. Let's email this person. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah,
Why is this film
yeah.
not available? Yeah,
Yeah,
so we want to
PSA
put that out
once
there.
we yeah. Yeah, just for the viewers, once we do wrap up the film festival circuit, we will get that to you and it'll be
Yeah.
posted as a link in my bio. And also, my Instagram is going to be the at symbol, and then I am Alexandra Almendarez. So you'll be able to see that Matty Cat link very soon.
Okay, everyone needs to stay tuned. Don't give her a hard time.
Yeah.
So, do you have a little bit more about yourself? So you like you said you were a singer, and then you're from age 9, and then what made you to decide to get into acting from singing?
So it kind of happened over, I think when I was in middle school, I same kind of thing. I joined the drama club, and yeah, I was like, oh, let's try this. I like choir, so and I had been doing elementary school choir, and then I went into middle school, joined the drama club, and then
Hmm.
I auditioned, and then I happened to get the lead role in the play, and I was like, I guess I'm good at acting too. But the talent was there. I mean, obviously, there's like room to grow.
Right, right.
I don't feel like your growth is ever finished. Like we're constantly a work in progress, but like the beginnings were there. And so I remember that was the a lot of dialogue for the time that I was, and looking back, that was when I started to get into acting through theater. And then it kind of got into musical theater, where when I was in choir, it was kind of like a hybrid show choir. So we were doing things like West Side Story and Evita, which are like my favorite musicals and musicals I want to be doing in the future. And from there in high school, I got into straight theater, and I that's where I discovered some of the most amazing works. I didn't know at the time that there was this this section of theater called Chicano theater.
Hmm.
And I started to feel, I remember during when I was like 16 or 15, I felt like, where do I fit into this as like a Latina, as a woman? I love acting, but like, are there things that are representative of me? And what was wonderful is that my teacher, Mr. Clegg, shout out to Skip Clegg, wherever he is, my high school teacher from ninth to 12th grade, he was always really wonderful and helped me to explore like all types of theater, like Moliere and Shakespeare, and just different all types of genres.
Hmm.
But from there, I dove into Chicano theater, and that's where I felt like I feel seen as a Latina, as a woman, and just as an actor in general. And I dove right in, and I remember I would read these like wonderful um, one acts or like or large plays, and I had memorized this big poem called Pensamiento Serpentino,
Hmm.
Thoughtful Snake. And I remember it was like a 10-minute monologue. It was just like really fun, but like now thinking back on it, oh, I was really ambitious at the time, even when I was younger like that. And um, I got to perform that. And I remember I won a few awards during that time. And it was great to really feel like I was represented because I think, in the industry historically, we haven't been seen as much. And luckily, we're so moving in the right direction, and there's always room to grow. But I was glad that I was able to feel seen during those times. And yeah, it's been a
Wow,
wonderful journey.
amazing.
Yeah.
You know, more in depth is, do you believe that um, being a Latino woman and in the entertainment industry is tough? I'm speaking for all the Latinos in America and around the world. Is it hard, do you believe, to get into the entertainment industry?
I think um, so. I feel that I feel blessed to be a Latina. I'm proud to be a Latina,
Hmm.
Mexican, Nicaraguan. Also, I'm
Right.
proud to be American. I do feel that we as minorities in general do have a more challenging time in order to get roles. Um, I have had that where I remember in certain productions I would get supporting roles when I felt like I should be the lead. And I think that everything happens for a reason, but I remember thinking for a couple times, oh, I think I could do that too. But or sometimes I'd have to put on an accent. And luckily, like I didn't really have to experience like what was experienced back in the 40s and the 50s, where it was only an accent, or like you had to darken your skin, or you had to wear certain clothes.
Hmm.
So historically, it has been harder. But I think in my generation, I've been very blessed. I've had a lot of mentors, and I think a lot of people are starting to see a lot of moves have been made where they're starting to cast more people of color,
Hmm.
and that's more reflective of the population. It's always been like that, but it has been homogenous for a long time, and now they're consciously casting more people of color, and I think it should be, a mix, but it does have to be with effort because um, it does take effort to make that kind of change. So all in all, it is a little bit more challenging, but I think that for me personally, it feeds the fire more, and I feel like I work even harder to get in certain doors and be seen. And yeah, it fuels the fire for me.
Well, I just have to ask because I know probably a lot of people are wondering, if the entertainment industry is like a tough or competition, or is it,
Yeah.
what is going on in the entertainment industry, and I believe you answered the question for a lot of young actors and actresses out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think in general, and it's hard to be an actor anyway. That's why it's not for the faint of heart. Um,
Hmm.
you really do have to, despite like being a minority and being a woman, just in general, being if even if you're a man or woman or in between, it's difficult to be an actor because of the workload and the dedication and tenacity it takes, but you really
Hmm.
have to love all parts of it to be successful. And I always say you got to fall in love with the process.
Wow, that's good, 100%. Um, now back to your film again. You were in I believe I'm saying this right. You were in Howard Original.
Yeah, Howard Original.
I'm sorry,
So
and
yeah,
I'm sorry that you played Samantha, and then of course you were in Margaret. That was in 2019.
yes.
We can talk about either one of those first, but what can you tell us about the your Margaret, and then let's talk about as well your role as Howard Howard Original as Samantha. Either way you can discuss. Either one's fine.
Yeah, so for Howard Original, that was actually the first collaboration that Natalie and I had, Natalie Rodriguez. And funny enough, I remember I remember that I had broken. So I used to do martial arts. I used to do Krav Maga and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I took a
Hmm.
break though, but I'm coming back. But the reason that I took a break was when I was in class, I broke my middle metacarpal in half.
Ooh,
And so I didn't know at the time. I just thought it really hurt, but I guess I have a high pain tolerance.
it
So
gotta hurt.
yeah, it really hurt, but I don't know because I've never broken anything. So I remember at that time I was booked for this and I got the cast and it was this big cast that went all the way up and I said, "Hey Natalie, excited to film. I broke my hand and I'm wondering if you'd still want me in it and if not, it's okay." Um she wanted me to come in anyway. We made it work. It was part of the comedy if you ever look it up. Um, but it was definitely a fun experience. That was the first time we collabed, and from then on, we've continued to collaborate. Really quick on Margaret, that was one of my, I think that was one of my first films. That was a lot of fun. I
Hmm.
really liked the cinematography, and it was just a great time to be able to work with different people and network. I still talk to those people in the industry, but more on collaborating with Natalie. We're actually going to be doing a short film called Dumpster Fire, and we just got the green light. I will be the leading lady in it, the co-lead, and I'm also going to be hopping on as producer, which is something I haven't done in a while, and I'm really excited because it's. I feel like as actors, you should always be open to learning different parts of the industry and not just acting because
Hmm.
I think sometimes actors get in their heads and they're like, I need to learn this scene and it's all this is it. But it's really like you're one part, one cog in the machine, and there's, costume and gaffers and art department and directing and cinematography. And once we understand all those things, it makes it more attainable
Hmm.
and less about the acting part because acting is beautiful, but it is just a small part of the entertainment
Right,
industry.
right. Now, I have to ask, a lot of people are probably wondering, how did you break your arm or your hand or
Yes. So, for all of you who may not know, I used to do mixed martial arts. For all of you who may not know, I used to do mixed martial arts in Krav Maga. I loved it. I was going a few days a week, and I will get back to it. But I did take off a few years to heal from it. And what had happened was I was in class and I was doing a takedown, and my hand hit the mat, and it just must have hit it very hard because my middle metacarpal, which is this bone here, snapped in half.
Ooh,
And I've never broken a bone before, so I remember I was like in shock and I thought it really hurts, and I was like crying, and I thought I can't work today. I can't grapple
right.
today. And so I left, and then I ended up going to the ER later and it was broken, but I had never broken a bone, so I didn't know. And I think I also have a high pain tolerance too. So I got that wrapped and I had it in the cast, in the long cast for I think over 5 weeks. And it was very humbling doing things with one hand. I think actually it was my right hand. So like I couldn't write for 5 weeks. I started to become ambidextrous. Um, but it was humbling, and I was really glad that the doctor said I made a full recovery because I'm also a salsa dancer, and I was afraid that I would not be able to have the dexterity in my hands anymore. But
Right.
once he said that, I thought, thank you, God. My hands are safe. And um, I decided to take a break from mixed martial arts so I could make a full recovery. So it's been a couple of years, but I do plan on coming back and definitely Krav Maga because I do miss that, and that's with gloves, so your bones are protected, and just in general, it's just good to have less impact.
Hmm.
And obviously, you do it safely if you do have impact, like with things like Muay Thai.
Right.
But yeah,
I mean, it must have been annoying because if I had a cast too, but
oh yeah,
if your skin starts itching, you
yeah,
can't you don't know what to do, so you have to find like um a long whatever I'm kind of looking like I don't need it now, but like long
yeah,
something to go in there and
yeah,
scratch it and it was like it's not fun because it's like
yeah. The phantom itch, or like yeah, that was an interesting time. It was just, and it was funny looking at it because I would still go to work because I work part-time at a restaurant, and I remember wearing a blazer over my I cut my blazer to fit over my cast, and so most people didn't even notice. And then I would be handing out the menus and they're like, "Oh, you have a cast on," because you could see like the front, and then you look and my arm's like twice the size of the other arm. Uh but yeah, it was very humbling, and I'm
hmm
so glad it wasn't worse. And I think just in general, when you're an athlete, you just you have a higher chance of getting injured. And
right.
I know like people like Jackie Chan who've broken like many bones, and so it's just, or stunt people, and that's just kind of
Yeah.
the name of the game. And you just focus on your healing and your wellness
hmm
and resting.
Of course, yeah, Jackie Chan broke so many bones. You can name all. You can't, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, Now, next question is when you for auditions, a lot of young actors and young actresses out there in the entertainment industry who's getting ready to get into the entertainment industry, or are already in the entertainment industry, who is struggling about auditions. When they go to auditions and then they get denied and they get denied and denied and denied, or they may get the role. What's your encouragement to? For young actors out there to tell them to keep going? What's your big advice about auditions?
So much. I think so. I'll touch on a few things. Definitely, you have to remember that you're in it for the long game. Things don't happen right away. And I always liken it to like, imagine you're like in the lunch line at, no, the last time we were in a lunch line was like elementary school. Imagine you're in the lunch line and you might be at the end of the line. You're like, oh man, I'm so hungry. Like, I wish I guess I can't cut, or, well, I mean, this person cut in front of me, and like, oh no, they're running out of this. But you have to know that you're in the line, and no matter what, at the end of the day, you're going to get served.
Hmm.
It just takes longer for different people. Some people are ahead of you, some people are behind you, some people cut. But I would just say stay in it for the long game, because if you're expecting for it to hit right away, it can, which is possible, but most commonly it just takes time. And I think in life, lots of great things just take time to happen. I think also if you're feeling like low, let's say you're feeling low self esteem
Hmm.
from like being rejected, because that's basically our job. I think maybe when you're a new actor, you think, oh, I'm going to be on set all the time, and I'm going to be at crafty, and I'm going to be running my lines, and it's going to be wonderful, which it will be. but the majority of your time is going to be the in between parts where you're not on set. And that's going to be where you're in class. If you're like in an audition technique class or in a commercial class or a voiceover class, the other time will be when you're working on lines, when you're maybe doing scene study just for fun with a friend or with acting friends in a class, or you're reading an acting book, or maybe you go take a class, a workshop on body movement. So I would say if you're feeling low self esteem, make sure you check yourself and see, well, am I doing all the things that I can do to become a better actor? Because at the end of the day, auditioning is great and you can do a wonderful audition, but it doesn't indicate your worth if you don't get it. And I think a
Hmm.
lot of times actors think, if I don't get it, then I'm not a good actress. And if that keeps happening over and over, then your self-esteem starts to tank. Now, if you feel like, okay, well, maybe I can look at it this way. Maybe is there something that I can do? Maybe I need to get an acting coach for this, or maybe I need to take a break. Maybe I need to go observe nature, be out and about, because a lot of times, so, a lot of times actors will just focus on acting so much. But you think about it in life when you're holding on to something so tightly, it's like the negative effect.
Hmm.
You have to make sure that you fill your life with all of the other things like friends and family and going out and being out in nature and reading and doing things that are non-acty. But I would say for self-esteem, first and foremost, if you think of it as, oh, is there a way that I can improve? Then maybe go seek out a coach or a different class and get some feedback, because there are times when we might not be aware that we think we have our ducks in a row, and there might be something that we don't know. And we don't know until somebody tells us. But there are certain ways of like having your resume and your headshots, and that are industry standard, as they call it. Then at the other end of the coin, you have to be able to see that boundary where it's like, well, do I need to be focusing on getting better, or am I just getting in my head? Because there's so many things that are out of our control where we might not get a part.
Hmm.
I can't tell you how many times I've auditioned for a part where they ended up going with someone of a different ethnicity, or with a guy, or with a relative. Um, and that's out of our control. All that we can do is make sure that we do good work. And when we look inward, we can find that answer.
That is a very good, advice to give to young actors and young actresses out there. I do appreciate that. What is your next upcoming project you have?
So, my next upcoming, so my next up, I need water. Hold on a second. I've been talking a lot. Um, all better. So I have a couple of upcoming projects. One that I did film about a year and a half ago is called The Afterworld Game. That is a film noir horror thriller that is going to be coming out in 2024/2025, depending on if we go on strike again. I know that there might be talks of potential strikes, but that was a film that I filmed in downtown Los Angeles. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely an ensemble cast where we definitely got to play with like different styles. We had these wonderful long shots that were happening. It was only mainly four people
Hmm.
in the movie, and so we had dialogue that was going like this. So I had to know. I remember like 90 or 100 pages of dialogue. It was just exciting, and we had a really great time building backstory and collaborating with the crew and the other actors. And that should be coming out in 2024/2025. I also played opposite Udo Kier, who is in Hunters on Netflix. And he's a wonderful actor. He's a veteran actor. He's been in over 50, 60 films. And another thing that we're doing is Natalie Rodriguez and I. She's my co-producer and friend and co-collaborator. We're going to be doing Dumpster Fire, which is going to be based on the hit show The Bear. If you're
Hmm.
familiar with it, I love it. I
Me
think
too.
because yeah, it's so good, isn't it?
It is. It's 100%.
Yeah.
I love everything about it.
Yeah. I think because I've been working in the restaurant industry since I was 17, I'm just like, this is so familiar. Corner, it's just everything. But it's going to be based on The Bear, and I'm going to be the co-lead, and I'm also jumping on as producer, which I'm really excited to do. I haven't done producing in a long time. The last time I had produced was when during COVID. I remember I think it was like 2020. So right at the beginning of COVID and everything was like stopped. People were wondering, what are we going to do? Like shows are not filming. And I thought, I'm going to film my own stuff. So I remember I'm going to make this happen with COVID guidelines, um, safety. And I remember I wrote, cast, produced, and starred in three of my scenes for my reel. And it was a lot of fun. And I did it all in a day, a lot of work, and I ended up getting some pretty great auditions from that, like series regular studio film auditions
Hmm.
from the scenes that I made. And so from then
Wow.
on, it thank you. From then on, it planted the seed of, wow, I think I need to be creating more. And that's what a lot of people are doing now. Like Issa Rae and J Lo and so many people are creating their own work, and I don't want to ever limit myself to one thing. Acting is great, but like I know in my heart that I can be doing all these other things successfully. So that's why I felt like it was the right time when Natalie gave me the opportunity to produce, that it's time to move into that direction. And I'm excited to learn so much more, and creative and business wise. And yeah, we're really excited. I just got cast in a play, and I'm very excited for that because I haven't been in a play in a few years. I took time off from being in musical theater to pursue TV and film,
Hmm.
and I was approached by somebody in this Latinas group that we have on Instagram, and they were looking for somebody for their festival. It's called the Short and Sweet Festival, 10-minute 1X, and I auditioned. I booked the role, and we just had a table read yesterday to like, fill out where we are, and very excited. I'm going to be working alongside my friend Sonia Balcazar, and who's also very talented, and she's been producing her own work too. And our friend Jackie, she's going to be directing and producing that. So if you'd like to see me in person, meet me, hang out, come watch the festival. It's going to be the Short and Sweet Festival. It's going to be in May, on May 18th and May 19th. And I will also have a link in my bio for that. But very excited to be back on the stage.
Well, that's amazing. And again, congratulations, of course, and all the upcoming projects you have. Do you like being on stage more or being on screen?
Oh, I feel like they're like cousins. So I love them in different ways. I feel like theater and musical theater were my first loves, and that at the time when I had only known those, that was the end all be all. And then when I got into TV and film, I thought I love this too in a different way, because I remember coming from theater, and I was so loud, and I was, like the theater, and you're talking to the back row, the person in the back, and you're acting with your whole body. And there are so many elements that are similar to TV and film, but I really had to like bring that into myself. If you will, like a volume dial, you turn it inward. And because TV and film is so much in the close-ups and like the tiniest little movements are art. So I do love them both equally in different ways. Um, but definitely when I started doing TV and film, um, I really fell in love with it. And I'm just excited to be a part of the community and of the industry.
Wow. I just had to ask that because a lot of people are wondering which one's better. You
Yeah,
know,
I wouldn't compare them, because they're cousins. They're just different, you know?
Hmm.
But I it would be neat to continue to dabble back and forth. Like I know Viola Davis does that often, Denzel Washington. But they, they love it and they just turn that dial to like, for theater and then one for TV. It's exciting. I did have another project that I forgot to talk about if I could
Hmm.
mention it. So, um, due to the strikes happening, we had postponed production, but I am excited to be a part of a new feature film. It's going to be called The Bride of Bishop, and it's supposed to be filming in 2024, 2025. We are doing a wonderful period piece. I'm going to be playing the lead, and it's going to be a wonderful thriller. It's going to be based on Chavez Ravine, which is the area that where Latinos. I think historically it was mostly Mexicans that were living in this area, and this was pre Dodger Stadium. But there was this community of people that were living there in the earlier years. I'd say maybe like 70 years ago. But it's going to be a period piece. I'm excited. I'm going to be challenging myself artistically. I think the most I ever have, and I'm excited to grow through this character. And once we start production, I'm going to be filling you guys in. But I think this story definitely needs to be told because I don't think a lot of people know about the history of LA and how things like redlining were happening, and we are aware of segregation during that time, but it was also affecting Hispanics, Latinos,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
so I think this story will be told in a wonderful way, and we get to see a life into this community of people that may not be known to a lot because when I talk
Hmm.
about it to different people, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know there were people that were living there." And so basically, when they were living there, they had this community, but they were evicted due to eminent domain, and then they built Dodger Stadium, and all those people were displaced. So I'm excited to tell this very
Wow, I did
important
not know
story.
that.
Yeah, right?
Wow. Yeah, please.
Yeah,
I can't wait to watch it. That's very interesting. Did not know that. Thank you
yeah,
for
yeah. I'll send
talking
I'll
about
send it to you.
that.
Yeah, The Bride of Bishop, and I'll keep you guys posted.
And when it comes out, I'd love to have you back on my show and talk more about it.
Yes, that'd be great.
Yes. Like I said, it's been a while. We've been tagging each other, communicating,
Yes, yes.
getting a hold of each other on my show. And I do appreciate you coming on my show because I've been looking at your work and you've been doing a lot of work and it's amazing work and
Thank you.
your dancing, your acting, and your self tapes that you've been showing to the world and your fans and the audience out there. And my last question is, may not be the last, but one of my questions is, do you believe that people, young actors and young actresses, or any actors, they need to go to school for acting?
So that's a two-part. So yes and no. Because, okay, so I did not get my degree in drama. I do think it's wonderful. I think if you have the opportunity to go get your degree, UCI or Carnegie Mellon or, Cincinnati, the big ones, NYU, that's great. I chose to not. Originally, I went a couple different ways. I was a drama major, and then I went to music, and then I went undeclared, and then I went to business. So was I was exploring, and for me, I felt like it was great that I ended up getting like a hard skill, but I went into business administration with an emphasis in entertainment and hospitality management, and I got to see all the things that are happening in the entertainment industry that are not in the talent part, and that's like a lot of it, if not most of it. So I felt like it was important for me to do that. And I would encourage people to learn more than just the art part.
Hmm.
Now, with that being said, during that time, I also, and I didn't need to go to a community college, but I ended up wanting to go to Citrus College, where I ended up being the Citrus Singers for 3 years. It's a conservatory style program. originally led by Ben Bollinger, carried on by Doug Austin, and now taken over by my friend Marius Beltran. And it's in Glendora, California. And it is definitely a conservatory style program where we did acting, singing, and dancing. And I did that at the same time that I was getting my degree. Most people don't do this because they're not crazy like me, but I was taking like 20 units. I was going to, I was so busy. I was like going to Cal State Fullerton and getting my undergrad. And then I was going to Citrus and in the choir. And I was also in a show. And then I had a job. And I was just zipping back and forth. But that good part of that was that it was 3 years, it was condensed, and I really was dancing, acting, and singing every day. And I really got to feel and get better very quickly
Mm-hmm.
because I
Mm-hmm.
was doing it for 7 hours a day. So there are benefits of going to school and getting that. Do you need to go get a degree in drama or music to be successful in the industry? No. But training in general is important. And
Mm-hmm.
when I say training, I think you need to find a studio that you love, that you feel that you resonate with, that you like the community, you like the coaching, you like the coaches and their style and their approach. Maybe even if they're connected to different people. But I remember my first studio was the Annie Grindley studio. It's on Beverly Boulevard in LA, kind of near CBS. Great studio. A lot of great people have come out of there. Jana Lee Ortiz on Station 19, Rami Malek, as we all know, Queen. Um, but I would say if you're not going to go to school, then you need to get into a studio because one of the rules that my mentors have taught me is that a couple, I wouldn't say a top five, but when you're starting out, you want to get in class because you need to see like where you kind of fall. And of course, there's like a natural ability. And even if it's small or big, like there's always room to grow that. And there's also like the technicalities of like working with the camera, knowing how to use your space and knowing where you are cinematically, because it's such a different beast than theater. And then just in general, it's you have to become comfortable to come across as natural on
Mm-hmm.
camera and not look stiff. And it is something that you practice. So I would say getting into class, and outside of those things, getting a standard headshot, resume, getting footage for your reels, those things like that. But long in the all in all, I'd say you don't need a degree in acting or acting, film, or music to be a successful actor, but training is important. And when the training comes in is when you're at a studio or you're in a great class,
Mm-hmm.
because natural talent can only take you so far. Natural talent is great, and there are some
Right, right.
people, and this is what I believe, and I know a lot of people share this belief. There are some people who do natural talent, and that's great, but technique is important. And this is for anything. This is for singing, this is for dancing. You it's important to be able to develop that skill, and that's how you become a bookable and marketable performer, and people will want to work with you again because you care to improve yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the training comes in.
That's a good advice, wonderful advice because a lot of people are wondering, do I need to go to college? Do I need to go to school? And you answered that question 100%. Um,
Thank you.
a lot of people must be wondering, what do you do for fun when you're not acting, singing, modeling, or etc.? Where do people see Miss Alexandra?
Yeah, so I kind of I love doing all those things to relax too. So it's funny because when, like, to me, relaxing is salsa dancing. Like, I'm going to go salsa dance tonight, and people are like, but that's active. It's working out, but it's still fun to me. But I really enjoy salsa dancing. I don't know if I really talked about it much, but I started, I didn't start dancing until much later. I think when I was in show choir, I did like step touch. So I wasn't really like doing much. But when I was 19 or 20, I joined. I remember I was in my starting my business degree, and I needed like an artistic outlet because at that time I had stepped away from
Mm-hmm.
acting, and I found the salsa club, salsa
Mm-hmm.
dancing, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna try this. It sounds fun, and I loved it, and I kept going with it. I was on their dance team, the CSUF salsa team, danced on different teams after that with Stephanie Stevenson and Kimberly Flores, and took classes and in general just social dancing. But I enjoy that so much. And yeah, I've been dancing on and off
Mm-hmm.
for 10 years, also professionally. Um, Booked as like a dancer in a music video. And um, I'm very blessed because I feel like not everybody enjoys dancing, and that's okay because it's not everybody's cup of tea. But I think movement in general is important, and it's a mood booster and um, a confidence booster. And that's what I enjoy doing on my
Mm-hmm.
spare time, even though it's definitely a workout because like I'll go dancing for like 2 or 3 hours. And I think because I'm used to it, I have a lot of stamina, but it's a workout, but I do love it.
Right.
Outside of that, I like to be out in nature. I like to go hiking. I don't like hike with all the gear and stuff, but I like to like go on like nice, simpler hikes. Outside time, I think, is important, especially as an actor. I also I used to like to write a lot. Um, if I hadn't been an actor, I would have been an English teacher, and so I'm actually getting back into that, and I enjoy writing. And when I'm not doing the other thousand things I'm doing, I do enjoy reading. And yeah, I think I oh, also I like to watch a lot of different shows for research and then also just for fun. But I think as a person in the industry, you have to be really well rounded and know what's
Mm-hmm.
out. So I'm like currently juggling like 20 different shows. And I hadn't watched all of them, but I'm actually watching all of the Marvel universe in order. So I just watched Avengers like just now when it came out in like 2011. I thought, "Oh, okay. This is cool."
Wow, you're no offense, but you're so far behind.
I know, but it was like there's so many. It's like I watched Captain America, and all the other ones, and then the Hulk, and I was like, okay, I'm getting there. But I think they're like 20. I'm just like, but in that, like I've just been getting caught up, and I remember I had seen like The Godfather like 5 years ago, and just there's just so much that it's like part research but also part fun. I love watching different kinds of cinema and seeing like
Mm-hmm.
everybody like has their own style. Like a lot of those big actors have their own like ticks or their own little signature things. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I agree. I still watch the Avengers, but um I'm not behind like you you are.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because like I want to get caught up because I want to see like all the new stuff. And I think I had seen like Captain Marvel, like, and that's like one of the newer ones. I'm like, oh, I'll just watch it. It all will tie together. I'll just, do the fandom.com or something and find out what's what. But yeah, I think those are a lot of fun. But yeah, I like
Wow.
watching movies. And I'm very like family oriented. I love spending time with my family and with my friends, and I always make a point to make a life outside of acting.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I was younger, and I think in general, like as actors, like I was saying before, we get fixated on like I have to be, reading this acting book and acting all the time. And if I get this audition, I'm going to cancel all my plans.
Right.
And it's all encompassing, and that to me is not healthy. And I don't think that's conducive to like a healthy work environment for actors to
Yeah.
be a better actor, because actors are embodying humans going through human emotions in life. And so to become a better actor, you have to experience life.
Mm-hmm.
So better than and there are great things to read in a book, but it's so important to get out and to be out with friends and um, you observe people. I mean, I think when you're when you're in the industry, you start seeing things differently. Even,
Right, right.
cinematographically, you're like, oh, they cut that shot weird, and that continuity was different, and that, but her hair is different than what, it's just, you see all different things. But I think what I've really valued is um I have a life outside of acting, and I am an artist, but it's not all that defines me.
Right,
And I'm
right.
overall just a human being experiencing this human life. And yeah, that's what I do outside of acting. And what's important too is, I would say, actors focus on your mental health and your wellness.
Yes,
That is
100%.
so,
We have
and it just
to,
anybody.
yeah, any mental health
Yeah,
is a very important topic. We must discuss about mental health. It is very important.
yeah.
Mental health is real. So,
Yeah. And if there's anything that I can recommend, there is a new podcast that I got into in December. It's changing my life. Guys, run to it. It's called To Be Magnetic. It's on Instagram, they're on Spotify. I listen to it on YouTube, but I think in general, if you don't listen to some that specific one, just find something that resonates with you, because it's important that we re-anchor ourselves every now and
mhm,
then. It just makes you, a happier person, and you start to
yeah,
see like the grand scheme of things.
100%. Mental health is very important. We must discuss it and we must talk about it every day if we can. To any
Mhm.
friends, family, work people, anybody, we don't know what anybody's going through, so it's very important. So
Exactly.
I do like that. So thank you for talking about that, and thank
Yeah.
you for coming on my show.
Yay! It was so fun.
I would love to have you back on my show, um,
That'd be great.
whenever that is, right? Because we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. I think I can find. Yeah, I think I'd find some
No
time.
offense. I mean,
Yeah.
we've been, of course, the audience would know, everybody. We've been tagging each other. I didn't know what's happening. You said this day, and I was like, okay. So, um,
Yeah. Well,
definitely,
I'm so glad it worked out, and thank you for being flexible and patient. Um, but yeah, definitely, I'd love to come back for sure.
yes,
For sure.
please do, and we can talk about your future films and mental health, um, all kinds of topic for sure. Love to have you back.
Sounds great. I would love to share my social media one more
Yes, please.
time.
Yes, please. I forgot to mention. Thank
Oh, no,
you.
that's okay. So,
Yes.
thank you all for listening. It's been such a pleasure being a part of this. Thank you for having me. If you'd like to reach out to collab, link up, my name is Alexandra Almendarez. I'm based in LA and in New York. And my website is www.alexandraalmendarez.com. I also am available on Instagram, and it's going to be at I am Alexandra Almendarez. And yeah, you can also find me on IMDb. If you Google my name, you'll see all the links of the Actors Access and all that. But I'd say the sure ways to get a hold of me are going to be through my website and through my Instagram. Also, if you'd like to email, it's going to be a almendarez, so my last name, 646 at gmail.com.
Yes, please contact Miss Alexander, everyone. Thank you for coming on my show, and I look forward to having you back.
Thank you so much. It was so
Yeah, and
fun.
I'm guessing you're about to go to class.
I think I'm gonna go to salsa dance. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have dinner, and then I'm gonna go salsa dance. There's a new venue that I want to go support. Some of my friends are promoting it, and I want to make sure they have a great opening. So yeah, I'm gonna go out to
I'm guessing you're gonna be there 3 hours sofa dancing.
yeah, probably. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I took a nap, so I think I'm good. Yeah.
Maybe longer.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a lot of energy.
Oh, I make sure to rest, because yeah, what I all of the dancing that I do, I have to rest.
Hmm.
So,
Well, thank you again for coming on my show and have fun tonight, and I look forward to having you
thank
back.
you. Thank you so much. You have a
You're
great
very
night,
welcome.
okay? Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.